still continue from where we left off. We already went over the vertical translation. Now we're going over horizontal translations. Now, again, horizontal translations means we're going from left to right. When we're moving from left to right, keep in mind it's affecting our x value. That's why the notation represents what's happening inside the parentheses, because where's our x in this problem? It's in the parentheses. So x minus h. Whatever is happening to x, I'm either going to be moving to the right or to the left by however many units. So the first one I'm going to give you is h equals 3. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take my notation, and anywhere I have h, I'm replacing it with a 3. Notice how, again, here 3 was positive, but because of my notation being minus h, when I plugged this 3 in for h, it became now a -3. These are the ones that seem to keep confusing people, especially when it comes to absolute value and quadratic functions. Again, it's affecting my x. So what I'm going to do here, and notice how it's in parentheses. What this notation tells me is that I'm going to take my whatever function they gave me, whatever f of x is. In this case, f of x is x squared. I'm taking whatever f of x is, but this time when I go to rewrite it, I'm not just going to simply write x squared. What happens here is that whatever's in parentheses. So for example, here I have in parentheses x. So in the problem I have x. But I no longer just have x in the parentheses. I now have x minus 3 in parentheses. So what I'm going to do here is anywhere I have x in the function, x is now going to be replaced with x minus 3. So your new function is going to look like this. And again, whenever you replace a variable with something else, always make sure you put it in parentheses. So I'm going to replace x with x minus 3. But again, think about it. It's already in parentheses, so all you got to do is rewrite it in parentheses. So again, x is being replaced with x minus 3. And then do not forget to bring down that squared. So this is your new transformation. It's kind of hard to be graphing and doing a video at the same time. So if I were in class, I would show you how this one is going 3 units to the right. If you don't believe me, graph it yourself. Again, if you don't have a graphing calculator, use Desmos. That's the one I like. I mean, it's pretty easy to use, but if you don't like that one, there's multiple graphing apps out there that you can use. So again, all I did was anywhere, because in parentheses, I replaced x with x minus 3. So anywhere in the function, I'm replacing x with x minus 3. Now I'm saying h is equal to -4. Again, I'm taking the function notation and I'm replacing h with my given value. Keep in mind that when you're doing these problems, they're actually going to give it in reverse. They're going to tell you what the transformation is. And it's your job to acknowledge that, oh, I'm going right 3 units. That means h is 3. But here, so here we're doing h is equal to -4. I'm taking the notation, I'm replacing h with -4. But again, since h in the problem is already minus h or a negative h, when I plug this -4 in, it's going to become a +4. Also, real quick, when you do this one, do not square it unless they tell you to. Do not square it. So this is your final answer. So down here, I have f of x plus 4. Again, because it's located inside the parentheses of my notation. What it's telling me is that I no longer have x. What it's telling me is that whatever x is, I'm adding 4 onto it. So what we're going to do is take whatever f of x is equal to, which in this case, again, it's x squared. I'm taking x squared, and anywhere I have x, I'm replacing it with what it's now going to be replaced by, which is x plus 4. So y is equal to, again, in parentheses, x plus 4 squared. And again, because it's a positive 4, remember, inside the parentheses is going to be the opposite. And again, because h is negative 4, so this one is left 4 units. So it's, again, left 4 units. Again, if you have any questions about these, please let me know. But again, a good thing about these is that these are actually very similar to the absolute value problems. It's just the absolute value problems, in the end, we didn't have parentheses in the problem like we have here. In the absolute value problems, we had absolute value bars. That's really the only difference between these and absolute value problems. Again, this should be in your chart. So now I'm going to do the next one. And if you're going by the chart, we're saying that the next one is reflection. That could either be y equals negative f of x or y equals f of negative x. Keep in mind, a problem like negative f of x, what that means is that, again, there's that invisible negative 1 in the front. So it's negative 1 times f of x. So it's negative 1 times whatever f of x is. Kind of the same thing down here. Even though it's the negative inside the parentheses, it's negative x. But remember, we all know that the number in front of the x is a negative 1. So it's negative 1 times x. Unlike the other problems we do, again, because there's only 2 options for these, literally there's only 2 options. It can either be the negatives in the front or it's inside. We're not going to be like, oh, this equals something, like, how the other ones was h equals 3. I can't do that for this because, again, we literally only have 2 options for this transformation. So here I have y equals negative f of x. What this means is, again, I'm taking negative 1 times f of x. And we know that, again, I'm going to replace f of x with what it's equal to. F of x is equal to x squared. So it becomes negative 1 times x squared, which is simply negative x squared. And again, because it's on the outside, it's on the outside of the f of x, so it's going to be affecting my y values. So this is a reflection across the y-axis. The next transformation is y equals f of negative x. Again, notice where is this located in? It's located in the parentheses. So again, whenever I go to my original function, whatever f of x is equal to, again, here's x squared. Again, what this is telling me is wow, I can't talk, sorry. Wherever I have x in the original problem, every x is going to be replaced with negative x. And again, when you replace something with anything else, you always want to make sure to be on the safe side to put it in parentheses. So y equals negative x squared, which is a reflection across the x-axis. Those are the ones I'm going to give you guys for now. I might just go ahead and make the video for the next one. I haven't decided yet, but please make sure you write these down in your charts.